Hi everyone, it's me again. I'm back doing another video. So this one is going to be a Bastille soap. So the difference between a Bastille soap and a Castile soap is a Castile soap, as we know, is 100% olive oil. In the recipe that we did add some extra superfatting oils to make it an even more luxurious soap. So the next recipe we're going to do is a Bastille. Bastille has majority 80% or greater of olive oil and the balance some other oils. So sticking with our hobbyist soap making tutorial theme, we're going to use oils that we can easily locate in grocery stores or natural food stores. So we're going to add coconut oil, and we're going to add the castor oil into the recipe versus as a super fat. So we're going to do 80% Pomace grade olive oil. We're going to do 15% coconut oil, and we're going to do 5% castor oil. We're not water discounting or anything like that. Our super fatting oils are going to be the jojoba and the extra virgin olive oil, as well as the vitamin E oil. Okay, I am going to be coloring this batch. So we're going to use a natural colorant. However, I didn't get by my parents' house to get my colorants yet. The only one that I found that I have here is chlorophyll. And chlorophyll can be found in the natural food store. Chlorophyll, I believe, is used as a detox. If you drink it, you can put it in your water, and I believe it's to detox your body. So in our soap, it will give it the green color, but it will also give it a detox effect. Also, we're going to be using for essential oils, peppermint essential oil and eucalyptus essential oil. All right, so let's get started by measuring out our water. So let's turn on my scale. And once again, I will include the recipe down below in that information box down there. Always use distilled water. So we're going to need 9.12 or 9.1 ounces of water, distilled water. No, 9.1 ounces of water. Oops, I forgot to fill up my sink with cold water. Let me just do that. While that's filling up a bit, I'm just going to add my gloves. So now we're going to measure out the lye. So for the lye, we're going to need 3.218 ounces or 3.2 ounces of lye. And I didn't refill this container, but hopefully it's enough. Go. 3.2. Just move this aside for a second. Oops, sorry for the noise. Okay, so remember from the last video, and try to use, I didn't mention, try to use a fairly stiff spatula so that way you don't splash when you're stirring. Remember always, the lye goes onto the water. The snow falls onto the lake and not the other way around. So we're going to add the lye into the water. And remember to turn yourself or do this under the vent of your stove or outside because it does let off fumes. Okay, so I'm just going to stir this now. And I'm turning myself around. And stir it until it's completely clear again. Once you finish stirring in your lye into your water, you're going to go ahead and put this in your cold water bath, whether it's ice in a bowl with water, cold water, or ice in cold water in your sink, or just plain cold water. Just because we want to bring this down. If you want, you can use a thermometer, and we are looking for a temperature range between 100 and 110 degrees Celsius, or degrees Fahrenheit rather. So almost all the way mixed in. As you can see, it's getting clearer and clearer as I stir it. After the holidays, I'm going to do a recipe using a different liquid for our lye water. I'm thinking it will be coconut milk as a starter. And coconut milk is something you can once again get at your grocery store. Your local West Indian store as well would carry that as well. All right, so I believe this is at that right temperature, or sorry, at that clearness or clarity. So I'll put this in my sink. Okay, so now we're going to measure out our oils and our essential oils. So today we're going to learn how to do swirls. All right, so first we're going to start by measuring our coconut oil, and then we're going to put it in the microwave. I'm going to use a plastic spoon that I have here. So we're going to need 3.6 ounces of coconut oil. Would have helped if I had a sturdier spoon, but I forgot that downstairs. Perfect. 3.6. Oh no, not quite. Now we're at 3.6. So the coconut oil is going to add to the hardness of the bar, as well as give the bar some cleansing properties, as well as bubbling factor. So let's put this in the microwave. And because it's such a small amount, I'll put it in for like 50 seconds, and I'll just keep an eye on it. The next oil you want to get ready is your castor, which I have there. And then you're also going to need your Pomace grade olive oil, which I have here. So those are the next two oils we're measuring. Now the reason why I'm melting down the coconut oil in the microwave first before I add my other oils is because I don't want to have my oils hot I just want to have them melted. So I'm going to use the coolness of, or room temperatureness of these two oils to cool down my coconut oil. Let's check it. Almost melted. We'll put it in for the remaining time. Perfect. There's a few small chunks, but they'll dissolve just by me stirring them. Coconut milk, or coconut oil rather, melts at a very low temperature, 76 degrees, which is the type that you would want to buy when looking for it, which is the one that's mostly on the shelf, is a 76 degrees coconut oil. Make sure all those little pieces are melted. Perfect. All right. So now we're going to measure our castor oil. For castor oil, we're going to need 1.2 ounces. That's my castor oil. There we go. So 1.2 ounces castor. And then we're going to need 19.2 ounces of Pomace grade olive oil. Sorry, I was trying to make sure that that was, oops, that was on ounces. So 19.2 ounces of Pomace olive oil. Perfect. Oops, spilled a little bit on my scale. So 19.2 ounces of Pomace grade olive oil. I'm just going to give that a quick blend to mix the oils together, or a quick stir, I should say. And that cooled my coconut oil right down. It's just barely lukewarm. All right, so let's set that aside. Now we're going to measure out our super fatting oils. And where's my honey? Just grab those out. Okay, so we're going to need 0.24 or 0.2 ounces of jojoba oil, and you can also find this in the natural food store. The castor oil you can usually find in the pharmacy. It's in the laxative section, in case you were wondering. There we go. And then we're going to need 0.72 ounces of extra virgin olive oil. So 0.72 or 0.7 ounces. Go. And I just realized I forgot my scissors on the other side of the room. I'll be right back. Sorry, I was on the other side of the counter. I had to walk around. All right, so if you guys remember from the Castile recipe, we need 10 capsules if you're using capsules, which unfortunately I have to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, we'll do 11 just because it could have used a little bit more. Alright, so we just cut off the small tip and squirt it right in. Oops. Now you could always fast forward this part because this takes a minute to do. Ooh. Slipped out of my hand. Oh, there it is. If anybody knows an easier way to get these capsules out, I'd be appreciative. Just gonna, gloves are kind of slippery, so I'm just gonna kind of rub them down. So I can get a better grip on the capsules. No, I dropped it. Alright. I might just use this spoon. Well, that clearly didn't help me. Three more to go, guys. I know this is long, but if you have the liquid vitamin E oil, it will take you no time at all. Two more. Perfect. All right, guys. So I'll just give that a quick stir. And let's get rid of these capsules. Okay, so now we're going to measure the essential oils. And sorry guys, the screensaver went off. Just take care of that. All right, so In total, we need 0.75 ounces of our essential oils. So I'm going to do half and half. So I'm going to do 0.37 or 0.4 ounces of peppermint. Actually, maybe I'll do 0.3. I should take the dripulator out, but I'm one of those people that kind of leave things as they were, if I can. Okay. And now we're going to add 0.4 of the eucalyptus. I haven't made this in a long time, my eucalyptus mint, so I'm glad to be making it now. There we go. Stir that a little bit. All right, so now we have everything measured out. Just going to let the lye water cool down, and then we'll be back to mix up the lye and the oils together. And I'll show you how to color and swirl. Okay, so I'll see you back when that cools down. Hi everyone, I'm back. So the lye water has cooled down. It's just lukewarm. And the oils are about room temperature. So I've got my chlorophyll here. I just got that, yeah, I know, $9.66, but it's a 100 ml bottle, which is just shy of 4 ounces, I believe. I got this from a natural food place, and this is something that you can take. It says that you should, they tell you to shake well, and in addition to the daily diet, take 1 teaspoon daily in a glass of water, is what they recommend. So I'm just going to shake it, and we're going to make 2 shades of green. We're going to make a darker shade and a lighter shade, and then we're going to use a natural soap base color. As we know, it's a fairly, not white, but it's a pale, very pale, almost can't really tell green soap. All right. Okay, so remember what we said last week. Maybe I'll turn this way. What we said last week is to pour the lye water into the oils on top of your spatula to reduce the amount of bubbles. So go ahead and do that. Do that slowly. And I got some bubbles there because I missed my spatula. There we go. All right, 2 bubbles. So we can start to mix this by hand if you want. Easier to mix with a with a stick blender. So I'm just incorporating it slowly before I do my stick blender. And this stage, remember as I said last week or the last video, that we're going to definitely want to bring this to emulsification to add our colorants. Okay. All right, so turn down your volume. Here we go. Remember, always bring in your stick blender on an angle into the batter. And burp. All right, turn down your volume. That's as far as I'm going to blend that because I want to add my super fatty oils. Now remember, this is going to trace a little bit faster because it has the addition of castor oil and it also has a hard oil, which is coconut oil, added to it. So it's not going to be as slow as previous. All right, so this is our super fatting oil, same as last week, the last video, depending on when I get this video uploaded. And this was extra virgin olive oil, jojoba oil, and vitamin E. Vitamin E is also considered a natural preservative. Not that you need to preserve your soaps, but it's considered a natural preservative. I'm not using it for that purpose though, in this recipe. I'm using it for its skin loving benefits. All right, so let's incorporate that. Turn down your volume. There we go. I got bubbles there that last blend, but it's now incorporated. I can no longer see any oils floating on the surface. All right. So I'm going to see how loose it is. That's what I'm looking for. Maybe a little bit more. About that much. And about the same amount for the other green shade that I'm going to do. Alright, so let's move that aside for a moment. Okay. So mine's in a dropper, and I'm going to start with a dropper full in this one. See what kind of color I get. I think that's all I'm adding to that. It's a pretty color. Oops. And then I guess I'll start off with 2 dropperfuls in this one. Let's see what color we got with this. Let's compare. I'm going to make this one another dropperful darker. Let's compare. Perfect. All right, so that was 3 dropperfuls of chlorophyll. Trying to figure out where to put it so I won't spill. All right. Now, let's go ahead and add our essential oils to our mixture. So I'm going to do, because I have just a little bit in these 2 cups, let me do that so you can see. I'm going to add majority of it, so about 2/3 of it into this container. Then I'm going to add a 1/3, or I guess that would be a 1/6 and a 1/6 into that. Which this smells so amazing. Just give that a quick stir. this a quick stir. Now I can't stick blend this because my cup I think is too small. So yummy. Yummy, yummy. I'm really digging essential oils now. But don't worry, we'll be doing fragrance oils again as well. Okay, so let me just stick blend this one. Get it a little bit thicker. Now remember what I said about swirling. You want it at a very light trace when you're doing swirls. And the lighter this trace is, the more, what's the word? The more like undefined the swirl pattern is. The thicker the trace, then the more defined the swirl pattern is, if that makes sense. So it's more wispy of a swirl when you do more of a lighter trace than when you do it at a heavier trace, okay? And I did see Soaping 101, Catherine's video last night. I think it was last night that I watched her, or the night before, sorry, I watched with her funnel swirl in the Pringles can. I had to go out and buy a can of Pringles, so you know I'm going to be doing that as well. That will be another video. All right, and that will be with a fragrance oil and some micas. All right, so here we go. I'm just trying to get this to a thicker trace. The peppermint really sweetens the eucalyptus. I don't know if it makes a difference that I have a twisted peppermint candle burning at the same time, but in here it really smells good. So this is at a very, 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 very light trace. So I'm going to pour it at this trace because I'm going to go for a more wispier looking swirl. Let's see if my stick blender will go in here. It does. Close your ears. I don't know if you guys can tell, but that actually kind of changed the color a bit. Kind of lightened it, but I like it. All right. So that's it for the stick blender. Oops, drip some. Okay, looking at my drips. And so what you're going to do is, because I'm using more of the base, you're going to pour, I'd say about 3/4 of this in here. To half to 3/4. All right. Then you're going to go with your next color. And you're going to start from high up. So high up and pour down. And we're just going to go back and forth. And then as you get closer to the soap, or closer to the end, you're going to pour from lower. Now there's a whole bunch of bubbles in here. I'm just tapping this to get the bubbles out. So as you do that, they will just raise to the surface and burst. All right, so same thing, up high. Can't see in the camera, but I'm up high. So funny when I do this, bubbles form. All right, and then I go closer to the surface when I get to the end. And you'll notice that it will stay to the top of your soap. Let's get rid of some more bubbles. All right, so I'm going to use the rest of this now. And I'm going to do the same thing. Woo! Blooper! Completely missed my container there. All right. I'm just going to fix that, guys. 1 second. Now my mat is clean because I washed it down. So I'm just going to scoop that back into my container. It's very disappointing. I promise you guys my mat is clean because I washed it down. Okay. Now that was a blooper. Talk about mess. Okay. All right. Now I'm just going to take what's left and drizzle from the surface of the top surface, or close to the surface, onto my soap. You can do zigzag, you do whatever pattern you want. And same thing with the other one. I don't know if you guys can see. You see a bit better like that. Okay, and again, same thing. Actually, you know what, before I do that, I have an idea. Okay, so then you're going to take, well, first let's tap this down. You're going to take your wooden skewer or your bamboo stick, and you're just going to make little patterns in your soap. Just curlicues and swirls, whatever you feel like doing. There's no right or wrong way, just whatever floats your boat. You just don't want to overdo it because then you'll cause your colors to blend in together. All right. Now I'm just going to make little drops of the white or the natural soap base in random spots. Oops, a bit too much. All right. And then what I'm going to do is just on the surface of the soap, I'm just going to go through it like that. making little hearts. And I'm just going, I don't know if you guys can see, right through the middle of the circle. Just add a few more drops. And they're just making like little wispy hearts. Or leaves, however you want to look at it. There we go. All right, so that's my pretty soap that smells amazing, my eucalyptus mint. So we're going to cover that down and let it sit for 24 hours, and then we'll unmold it. I think what I'm going to do is, oh, my phone. I'll be back, guys. Gotta answer that call. Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. I had to answer that phone call. Anyway, so while I just figured I'll finish off the balance of the soap that was left in the containers, and that's what I did. I filled another one of these soaping molds. And if you guys can see, maybe not, that's how the hearts or the leaves or whatever you want to call it came out on the top of the soap. So just to recap what we did for the recipe, we did, why am I trying to go off the top of my head when I have it written down? Okay, so water, distilled water, you need 9.12 ounces. Lye, you need 3.218 ounces, and you pour the lye into the water, so lye into the water. And then for the base recipe, you're going to need 1.2 ounces of castor oil, 3.6 ounces of coconut oil, and 19.2 ounces of Pomace grade olive oil. For the super fat, you're going to need 0.24 ounces of jojoba oil, 0.72 ounces of extra virgin olive oil, and it works out to be about 0.05 or 0.1 ounce or 10 capsules or 1 teaspoon, however you want to calculate it, as vitamin E oil. And this makes our Bastille soap. We used 0.35 ounces or 0.3 ounces of peppermint and 0.4 or 0.375 or 0.4 ounces of eucalyptus oil. I used 1 dropper full of chlorophyll in about, I don't know, a quarter cup to, I don't know, a third cup of soap batter, and then 3 dropperfuls in another quarter cup to a third cup, however much you want to look at it as, half cup, I don't know, I didn't measure it, just a little bit of the other, and then we swirled it. So you could probably see through my container that I've got like a whole bunch of green there. Let's turn it. You can see the side, you can see the green in there. And the other side, you can see the green. So remember, you're going to start from high up, high above the soap, and go closer down as you come to the container. And then I started off with about half to 3/4 of the main soap batter. And then I just used the balance on the top of the soap to give it the pretty design. You're going to use your skewer stick or your bamboo stick or your whatever kind of stick you have to just kind of go through and swirl. And I just added little dots on the top for the hearts, and I ran my what's it called, bamboo stick, or sorry, what's that called, you eat with it, I forgot, chopstick. Wow, it's late. It's not late, I don't know, I'm just not with it, I guess. And I went right through the middle in like a C pattern to form the heart, but right through the middle of that dot, and that's how I got that heart shape. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Next coming up is possibly working with coconut milk. I'm not quite sure, and we will be building on this base recipe again. So that's basically how it's going to work. I'm going to start with the extra virgin olive oil, and we're going to keep adding oils that we can find locally in our grocery stores until we advance up to the more exotic oils and butters. But for now, that's what I'm starting with. I hope you guys enjoyed these soaping tutorials. Please click subscribe and like and share my video if you want to see more. And I might be doing another video later today, not sure. But I will be editing them probably on Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to try to edit. Anyways, hope you guys are doing well. Love you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.